Coming up on Network Africa, U.S. forces conduct first ever military airstrike on Nigerian soil against Islamic State militants in northwestern Nigeria. The Foreign Affairs Ministry confirms the strike, saying this cooperation followed established international practices and bilateral agreements. Plus, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan meets with Sudan's army chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, calling for an immediate action in the humanitarian crisis. Hello and welcome to Network Africa. Today, I'm Layo Olarinde. United States President Donald Trump says U.S. forces have conducted powerful and deadly strikes against Islamic State militants in northwestern Nigeria after he warned the group to stop killing Christians in the country. The U.S. military's Africa Command said the strike was carried out in Sokoto State in coordination with Nigerian authorities and killed multiple ISIS militants. A video posted by the Pentagon shows at least one projectile launched from a warship. The U.S. defense official said the strike targeted multiple militants at known ISIS camps, although it was not explicitly stated if the strikes were those that hit terrorists in Sokoto State. The strike comes after President Trump, in late October, began warning that Christianity faces an existential threat in Nigeria and threatened to militarily intervene over what he says is the government's failure to stop violence targeting Christian communities. Writing on his Truth Social platform, President Trump said, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorists in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was." The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing under my leadership. Our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if the slaughter of Christians continue. Well, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth thanked the Nigerian government on his X platform for its support and cooperation and added more to come. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth also praised his department's readiness to take action in Nigeria and said he was grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. Well, these attacks mark the first by U.S. forces in Nigeria under Trump and come after the Republican leader previously criticized the country in October and November, saying Christians in the country faced a threat that amounted to genocide. Although those strikes were indeed confirmed by the federal government through a press statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the statement explains that Nigerian authorities are actively engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners, including the United States, to tackle the ongoing threat of terrorism and violent extremism, and that the partnership has resulted in precision airstrikes targeting terrorist groups in Nigeria's northwest. According to the ministry, this cooperation follows established international practices and bilateral agreements encompassing intelligence sharing, strategic coordination and other support measures fully consistent with international law, respect for Nigeria's sovereignty and shared commitments to regional and global security. The federal government maintains that it continues to work closely with partners to weaken terrorist networks. While the Foreign Minister, Yusuf Tuga, who joined our breakfast program Sunrise Daily, says the strike is a result of a strategic partnership with the U.S. and puts to shame the impression that President Bola Tinubu has been foot dragging over insurgency in the country.
This is something that we've been working on for a very long time, not just with the Americans, but with others in almost all our foreign engagements with countries that have any influence over the flow. I'm sure you must have been hearing about the illicit financial flow. This is something that has been going on. We discuss it in ECOWAS, we discuss it in the African Union, we discuss it bilaterally with countries such as the United Kingdom, because London is a financial hub. We discuss it with the US because, the dollar is still the international currency or legal tender, if you will, and with China, with everybody at the BRICS. So it's clearly something. It's a no-brainer. This is something that we always discuss. And don't forget that we also have the non-kinetic approach to the fight against terrorism, which has been very effective. We have a safe corridor. Prior to Niger opting out of this multinational joint task force because of the failure of this strategy in the Sahel to stop migration that brought about the coup, we were actually, one of our challenges was how to contain the number of people that were pouring in, surrendering, particularly Boko Haram. But then this change, you saw an upsurge in Boko Haram activities, just like we witnessed this suicide bombing recently. We had, it had become a thing of the past. We're doing so well, which is why it is important for those that are concerned about terrorism to collaborate with countries like Nigeria, and in particular Nigeria, because Nigeria is a leader in the region. And that's how we can be effective. So we have to be sincere. And we are sincere. Nigeria is sincere about its purpose and about its objectives.
The financiers of terrorism in Nigeria.
Nigeria has remained consistent in its approach, which is, like the statement says, to work with all partners that are committed to the fight against terrorism, irrespective of what religion, who the victims are, whether they are Muslims or Christians, and irrespective of what type of terrorism, be it terrorism being carried out in the name of one religion or the other, or indeed even banditry. So this is an ongoing process. We have been working closely with the Americans. This is what we've always been hoping for, to work with the Americans, work with other countries to combat the terrorism, to stop the death of innocent Nigerians. So those who thought that there was some foot dragging or, the government wasn't doing enough, it is a clear indication that we are committed and we are prepared to work with all comers.
Okay, so we understand that there was some reconnaissance done before the strikes. Were we also involved in that, and how so?
It's Nigeria that provided the intelligence. I was on the phone yesterday for 19 minutes with Secretary of State Marco Rubio of the United States. We spoke extensively, and we agreed that I was going to speak with President Tinubu, for President Tinubu to give the go-ahead. And I did speak with him, and it was agreed also that the statements that would follow would be statements that would show clearly that it is a strike against terrorism and that it is part of the ongoing joint operations between Nigeria and collaboration between Nigeria and the United States, and that it is not to do with religion, it's to do with protecting Nigerians and innocent lives of either Nigerians or non-Nigerians.
Well, let's discuss this further. Joining us now on the program is Temitope Olodo, a security analyst. Thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this was a joint Nigeria-US operation, and we've seen this collaboration trigger some strong reactions among Nigerians. What are your thoughts? Let's begin with that.
Thank you for having me once again. I believe there is a bit of a clash between security reality, that's military reality, and public opinion. There's no doubt that the northern part of Nigeria, where this incident really happened, are very proud people. They have a lot of history and there's a lot of mistrust. We know that even just last year there was a airstrike around that area that killed a lot of people. So there is no doubt that people might be a bit concerned about airstrike. But I think it's important to understand that when we use the word joint operation, we're using it from a security diplomacy perspective. It's about shared intelligence, it's about cooperation, it's about getting the Nigerian consent to be able to get into the Nigerian space. But when it comes to the execution, it's the Americans that actually have control of that execution. And that's exactly what the foreign minister was trying to explain.
Yeah, like you've mentioned, there are concerns on, sovereignty and foreign interference, although Nigeria is very much in this decision making, like we've heard from the Foreign Affairs Minister. From a security standpoint, however, what does Nigeria actually gain from this US air support that perhaps, it cannot currently achieve on its own in this fight against terrorism?
There's no doubt there are three things, specific things that Nigeria had gained from it. In the first instance, Nigeria doesn't have long missiles of that nature that could actually strike at the heart of those individuals that were involved in this diabolical act. So from that perspective, Nigeria is gaining from that. There is also the joint intelligence working together, to get real-time satellite information, which Nigeria do not have that capability at the moment. And working with the Americans, they are able to get that done. I think there's a misunderstanding on the part of the foreign minister when he was saying that when Chamberlain asked the question about shared intelligence, and he said, oh, we were the one that gave them that shared intelligence for them to strike. The question is, Americans have been working on this for quite some time. So you can't give them information 90 minutes earlier and then they strike. That's not what he was talking about. What he was talking about was they called Nigeria to make Nigerian aware of what they want to do. And what I know from my experience and for many security analysts involved in this kind of operation is that America has the operational superiority here, and all they're doing is informing the Nigerian government and letting them know this is what they want to do. They won't tell the Nigerian government 1 week before because of compromise, of course. We'll tell them maybe 30 minutes before. I think why a lot of Nigerians are a bit concerned also is the fact that if Nigerian government was aware of it 20 minutes before and 5 minutes after, then what you will have expected was that the presidency will have put out a press statement also within 5 minutes of that incident happening. That again might be because of the internal, verifications and clearance that happens within the Nigerian structure that makes it impossible. But like I mentioned earlier, there's shared intelligence, there is satellite information Nigeria is getting. Nigeria do not have that kind of weaponry, It costs about $1.4 million for one of those missiles. So we don't know how many have been used yet. So, it is a win-win for Nigeria from that perspective. But what we are hoping for in the future is that Nigeria is not giving its responsibility to the Americans to do for them. Nigerians also should be doing that work itself. But I think it's actually quite good that Nigeria is working with the Americans to at least help us get rid of this terrorist that is affecting both Muslim, Christians, and non-Christian, non-religious people. Everybody is affected. So it is a win-win for us, and I hope we could build on it. Our security agencies could build on it and make the best use of the skill set that we have now. Because again, one of the good things is psychologically, these terrorists will now be afraid that they're being watched on real time, and that again is a good news for us.
All right, then let's leave it at that. Security analyst Temitope Olodo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, let's take a break now on Network Africa. Still to come, unboxing all the gifts received on Christmas Day. It's Boxing Day today, celebrated around the world. Please join us again. Welcome back to the program. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called for international action as the war in Sudan continues to deepen a severe humanitarian crisis. President Erdogan made the comments during a high-stakes meeting with Sudan's leader, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, where talks focused on the escalating violence and the impact of this on civilians. The conflict in Sudan has displaced an estimated 13 million people, making it one of the worst humanitarian emergencies in the world. President Erdogan also adds that Turkey is stepping up its humanitarian assistance and deepening cooperation with Sudan in sectors including trade, defense, and agriculture, and finding a way to bring the war to an end. The UN Security Council has unanimously adopted a resolution to extend the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia. That's the mandate of that mission for another year until the 31st of December 2026. The UK, who is the pen holder on Somalia, circulated the draft resolution saying these decisions demonstrates the Council's continued determination to support Somalia in its fight against Al-Shabaab. UK Ambassador Archibald Young adds that Somalia has made enormous progress since the Security Council first authorized the deployment of the mission in 2007.
In its fight against Al-Shabaab. Somalia has made enormous progress since the Security Council first authorized the deployment of AMISOM in 2007. To ensure its support to Somalia remains targeted and effective, the Council's decision-making must continue to be informed by a comprehensive understanding of the national context into which AWSOM is deployed.
Well, today is December 26th, widely known as Boxing Day, a tradition celebrated in many countries around the world. From shopping sprees and sporting events to charitable giving, Boxing Day remains a day filled with activity and celebration. Boxing Day dates back to the 19th century in the United Kingdom. Originally, employers gave Christmas boxes, gifts, money, or leftover food to their staff, tradespeople, and those in need. Churches also opened donation boxes for the poor, keeping the spirit of giving alive. Well, here in Nigeria, Boxing Day is recognized as a public holiday. Many Nigerians use the day to continue the Christmas celebrations with extended family, visiting relatives, and enjoying festive meals and treats together. From family gatherings to acts of kindness, Boxing Day in Nigeria extends the festive spirit of Christmas, bringing communities closer and keeping traditions alive. Well, this Christmas period has been a busy time for Nigerian restaurant owners in the United States. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Maria Bird spoke to Obi Onoha about how busy his restaurant has been due to many Nigerians that live in the U.S. not being able to travel home because of the recent travel ban imposed by the Trump administration.
Dr. Obi, we thank you again for joining us as the Christmas season and wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And it's a busy time, I'm sure, for the restaurant, Jollof, etc. But tell us a little bit about kind of how you all been preparing for the holidays, how Nigerians are preparing for the holidays here in the United States.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. I really appreciate you and Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, a lot of people are ordering food for Christmas. Usually around this time they travel home for Christmas, but it looks like not so many people travel this time around. So we've been very busy with a lot of orders. And people, I think this year they want to celebrate Christmas in the U.S. So we're busy down here. It's a busy season for us, I must tell you.
Yes, as you mentioned, the unfortunate provisionary and the travel bans that have been put in place have many people concerned. So you do believe that's part of where many people are not traveling back home, but they're staying local.
Yeah, definitely. People don't want to risk it. Yeah, the travel ban is actually weighing down on a lot of movement here, and people are trying to be careful. And up till now, we don't really have full details of the ban. But people are cautious. People are trying to, stay within the U.S. for now until it becomes very clear to us exactly what the administration wants from or who is supposed to travel and who is not supposed to travel. So people are being cautious, and that kind of affected movement this Christmas. A lot of people didn't travel because of that.
So because people haven't traveled, I'm sure that means, as you mentioned, you're busy. What do you all have planned between Christmas and New Year's? What do you have to kind of make sure people feel at home, even though they're here in the U.S.?
Yes, our stores are open, and somehow a lot of staff want to work even on Christmas Day. So we are open here for Christmas, and people can come in here and celebrate Christmas. A lot of Nigerians come and mix and mingle even in the restaurant. So we don't really have an end of year event, but we are open for business.
From city parks to hangout spots, Lagos comes alive as Christmas Day unfolds yet again. Families fill open spaces, stalls stay busy, and exciting activities draw cheers from onlookers enjoying the festive atmosphere. We'll enjoy highlights from celebrations throughout the Christmas Day here in Lagos.
Faces painted, balloons soar, horses race, and smartphones remain raised to capture moments that reflect the joy of the season. Across fun spots in Lagos, the turnout is high, reflecting a familiar tradition of celebrating the magic of Christmas. Children remain at the heart of it all. Smiles glow, little feet run across open spaces, and playgrounds remain full.
Christmas this year means a lot because I am finally resting. I've been in school for months, and finally I can rest with my family. I haven't seen them in a while.
I feel very happy. Like, this part is very amazing. Like, so I'm just shining my teeth. I'm not able to close it. I really enjoyed Christmas, or the way everything is. I love the way they're playing, they're enjoying themselves, and the way everywhere is fun.
Amid the celebration, voices of hope mix with concern. While fun seekers bask in the joy of Christmas, others appeal for a better economy, hoping that special moments like these become easier and frequent for many Nigerians.
Christmas is all about celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. It's a season of hope, salvation, and is a period of sharing what you have with the less privileged.
We are only just managing ourselves, not to let the pressure of the country to eat on us. It's not easy, it's not easy. We'll say that. So we are appealing to the government. They should find a way to at least make the economy to be stable. It's not easy at all. We are only making it just fun for the children to be happy.
In Lagos, the festive season this year once again shows that even in the most challenging times, joy finds its way, especially when families come together.
And as we end the program today, here's a fun fact about the continent. Did you know Christmas in Africa features unique figures like Kenya's camel-riding Santa or Range Rover or bicycle? In Liberia, it's the Old Man Baker. It's a devil-like figure who begs for gifts and not gives them. And all this reflects, the diverse cultural adaptations of the holiday beyond the traditional Western Santa. These figures, alongside local traditions like My Christmas on You in Liberia, also showcase how African communities blend festive cheer with their distinct local customs, replacing sometimes Santa with folklore. And that's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde. Happy Boxing Day and have a lovely Christmas weekend.